Right, today's video is going to be a little, well, it's going to be a lot different. I am going to be sitting here talking, not for that long, and that's it. Nothing else is going to happen in this video. I've just got a couple of stories from my life I want to share with you. No other reason than it just feels like that's what I have to do today. So if you want titanium stuff and jet powered skateboards, come back and, tomorrow or the day after or whatever. But today, it's just me talking. The first story is what I did when I left university. It's not that boring, trust me. I think you might like this story. I may have talked about it before, I can't remember. I spent 5 years in university, got a master's in computing and electronics. I did that because I didn't know what else I wanted to do. It was the middle of the tech boom, like Amazon was launching and eBay and like all these things were kicking off, and it's like tech's probably the way to go, and I could have a bit of electronics there. When I was in university, I studied really hard, really hard. Had no like extracurricular activities. I just put everything on hold, studied like hell. Now, as soon as I finished university, as soon as I graduated and was done, I thought, I can do a bit of programming, software engineering. I am gonna beat the stock market. So I started reading and studying and programming and Excel spreadsheets. I went full on. I didn't just do it full time. I did it like beyond full time. I downloaded data, I ran systems, I wrote algorithms, I tried this, that, the other, simulation after simulation. Not just for days or weeks, but months. Literally months on end. Not only that, but I spent on average 18 hours a day. I mean, I went to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning. I got up at like 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and I spent the entire day around the clock trying to create this system. I did it again the next day, and again and again. There was no balance there whatsoever, and I just went full on because I thought, I'm going to beat the stock market. Now, you're probably expecting some sort of, awesome story on how I beat it or something like that, or maybe you're not expecting that, I don't know. Here's what happened. I did put some money on a system. It was a crazy system in hindsight. It was so risky. I put something like £30,000 on it, and over the course of 2 weeks I made something like £18,000. I'll put it in dollars for you. $50,000 is pretty much what I put on, and over the course of a couple of weeks, I think that would be maybe $25,000–30,000 I made. And then over the next week after that, I went right back down, not to zero, but back down to the sort of $50,000 equivalent that I had. And I thought, oh, this is too much. That was too much of a roller coaster. By that time, I was getting jaded, and I was just like, I can't do this with my life. This is just awful. Like, what am I doing? Almost an entire year after leaving university, and I basically locked myself away in my bedroom. Like, that's literally what I did. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, what was I thinking? But back then I was more stupid than I am now. So that's how I ended up traveling to New Zealand. I kind of just wanted to get away and that kind of thing. Like, so that's one of my stories. It's like a big part of my life that having no balance. I'm trying more and more these days to have better balance in my life. But that was a good example of just doing nothing except one thing. And did I learn from it? Maybe, I don't know. The other story is quite interesting because, I talk to you. I mean, of course, we both know I'm talking to a camera. Cameras have never really ever bothered me so much. I'm getting more and more comfortable. Not nervous or anything in front of a camera. Some people are. It doesn't bother me. But I used to be really shy when I was younger. I mean, beyond shy. Just horrible. I was horrible. And I remember, after I'd done this locking myself away in the room thing and I decided to travel to New Zealand, I got into my head that because I was out of my usual zone of where I grew up and where I was and where my friends were, I thought, oh, once I travel to this new place, I won't be the shy person. Now, you almost certainly recognize that as a false assumption. Like, back then it made sense, but then it happens, you're like, oh, it's not. If anything, it makes you worse. I remember traveling around New Zealand and just being like, in fact, I remember standing in Auckland, main city here in New Zealand, I was at the traffic lights, going to cross the street with everyone else, and I remember standing there and I was so self-conscious and shy. Like, I was just like, every footstep I felt like everyone was watching me. It's ridiculous, but that's the way it was. Like, you know, you can't deny what it was. And I thought, I have to get this under control. What am I going to do? So this is what I did. I needed a new pair of shoes. I had one pair of shoes, I think, with me, maybe two. I needed another pair. So what I thought is, I thought I could just take a long time to get these shoes. I could go into various shoe shops and just talk with the people. Like, I couldn't talk to people. I had to, like, going into a shoe shop and talking with someone just in general was just such a foreign concept, just nervous. And so that's what I did. I went into like a first shoe shop. I said, oh, I'm looking for shoes, da, da, da. And eventually, you know, I might make a little joke or something. And it's funny when I think back on it. And then, you know, go to the next shoe shop. Because the shoe shop is safe, you know, it's shoes. You need something practical, it's simple, you know, usually a woman serving you, they can help you. And, you know, they have to be nice to you. They can't tell you to go away and stop talking to them. So it was like a safety comfort thing for me back then. And I did that, you know, after the first day, after a few shoe shops, I was like, oh, I'm kind of, this is, I think this is working. And I did it the next day, I did it the day after that, and you know, I kind of used up all the shoe shops. I had to go back to the first and say, oh, I'm still looking, and that was a real success. It really started the ball rolling. I can't remember how many days or weeks or however long I did that for. I just know that it was the initial push, and that got me going on getting past my shyness and working past it and that kind of thing. I mean, obviously it's probably still a work in progress, I don't know. I don't really feel that shy anymore, but perhaps. So that's a sort of depressing stock market story, but then a sort of progress story after that. I think that's all I really wanted to share with you today. Right, it's just started raining, so I'm gonna call it a day at that. I will leave you with this quote, not from a person this time, but from a film. Very famous film. It's from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And in it, Ferris Bueller said, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it."